this kind of helps us out a little bit. Now, we're starting out very simple, and I'm going to kind of do a few things, and you see if anything starts happening. Now, if I'm looking at her, this central part of the nose goes in a ways, so it's over here a little bit, and this is over here a little bit, then it kind of comes down here. But if you look at her eyebrows, it's an outgrowth of this. Now, I want to tell you something, that on your head, there is a bone right here and here on your skull over your eye. If you feel right in here, it sticks out. Your head comes down. If you feel here, it kind of goes. Can you feel that? Okay. So it's sticking out. And so I'm going to look at her, and what's happening is this is sticking out right here. It's coming and it's sticking out here. I like to call it, it's kind of like the bicycle handles. We have a bicycle handle, and it kind of comes down like this and goes over here. Okay? Now, so I kind of know that there's some eyebrows that are going to go up there, but another thing that's important is I'm looking, when I'm doing a face, I look for shapes of shadows. So instead of thinking I'm going to paint this face or draw this face, I'm looking for certain things. So if I'm looking at her, I'm looking and I see this shape that's right in here. And I see this shape that's right in here. It kind of goes over to the side of the eye. And since that's in a shadow, I'm gonna color it in. Okay. Now, isn't that exciting? Aren't you glad you're here? Steve, are you glad you're not painting tonight, or do you wish you were?
I don't know.
Okay. So, now, the next thing I'm going to do is, something else for you to feel on your face. We have cheekbones. So if you feel your cheekbone, it kind of comes here and then it goes under. And if you feel it on the side, what happens is it kind of goes up into this long thing. It goes up to your ear. So basically, you have this thing right here, and then it goes up to the ear. Okay, see that? And you can feel that on your face. Yours doesn't? She doesn't have cheeks.
I have cheekbones.
She is not a cheeky woman.
They're just there.
Okay. So what happens, now, everyone thinks because you're old and you get these lines and things like this. Well, for heaven's sakes, you got this thing sticking out here, and you got this thing sticking out here. And what does that do? It gives you little smile lines. That's where that came from, is these cheekbones. They stick out, then it goes in, so it makes smile lines. All right? So this comes down here and kind of comes down to the edge of the mouth, and then maybe down this way. Okay? So there's that. Now we're going to keep going. Is this interesting so far, or are you falling asleep? Okay. All right. Now the next thing I want to say is, so this is the bottom of the mouth. So about right in here, I'll put a line. Okay, and then she'll kind of have this. And then you've got the lip, and it comes and does this little thing. And we'll talk about that in another class. All right. But there is something else. Right underneath the nose, you have this little thing here. It's called the septum. So we'll just make this septum right here. Now, if I'm looking at Noreen and the light's coming down here, her nose is in the way. So if the light's coming down, it hits the edge of the nose and casts a shadow underneath. So guess what? There's another shadow. So we can come down like this. Might look weird, and I'm not trying to make her Adolf Hitler, but it'll come together. Okay, so see that. Now, also on her nose, on your nose, it goes here and here.
Oh, okay.
Here and here. I'm weird, I'm sorry. You're going to wish you didn't come, Janet, but oh no. All right, so basically what happens is we have this side goes this way, this side goes this way. It's kind of like a V. And we all have that. comes that way. And then on the sides of it, we get this little edge here and a little edge here. And then right in here, and it depends on the shape of the nose exactly where I put it, but right in here, we have nostrils. Okay? All right. So now remember that. So we have a little V, put this here and this here. Just kind of loop it around the sides. Put those two things on it. Okay, now we also have this. And I need to say something about this. I get so tired of everybody talking about this thing that makes you look old and whatever. You know why that's there? Because of this. That doesn't have anything to do with how old you are. That's just where the bottom of your eye socket is. And if you feel there it is. See? And it kind of goes in. So maybe it gets a little bigger as you get older, but hey, I like it. It gives you character. Or it makes you into one. I don't know. So I'm going to come down here and here. And there's a little shadowing here and here. Okay? But you know what? I also noticed that above her eye, right in here, is a line here and here. That's your upper eyelid. So I'll do that. Here's this upper eyelid. Okay, so then you have this lower eyelid. Now, the next thing, you know, with these cheekbones, I want you to think of a triangle. You have a triangle that goes mark, 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 triangle. Look at Noreen. Can you see triangles on her face? That's from your cheekbones. So remember the triangles. Okay, be glad you're not in my college classes because you would be learning all of these big words about what these bones are called and all this stuff that you forget as soon as the class is over and hope you never hear it again. So we have these like this. Okay, now, depending on how old you are, and I prefer you to be a little older because I don't like to draw 19-year-old girls. If you look here, when this comes here, and this kind of comes here, what happens at this point is it usually comes down, and there's where your chin is. Now, depending on how old you are, again, the cheeks kind of come down, and sometimes they'll come down here and go a little below or off to the side, depending on how old you are. And I think it's cool. I love to paint people that have those. Okay, so now when I'm looking at her, you know how the light comes down and hits up here, but this is sticking out. So what happens is this part down here, you get a little of the grandma's rouge. I remember I got spanked because I got in my grandma's purse and played with the rouge. Anyway, so right down here, you see the light comes, it hits here, but this is underneath it. Now, the other thing that I need to mention is that the top lip, your top lip goes in this direction. If you're looking this way, it comes in this way. This way, it comes out this way. So, as the light comes down here, like on Noreen, the top of her lip is further out than the other. So what that does is that makes this darker because it's in a shadow, because the top part is sticking out, the light doesn't get over to it. Okay? All right?
That you put in was just the top lip?
This is just the top lip.
Right here.
Now the bottom lip, here's the bottom lip. Now, I got to tell you something about bottom lip. For us guys that don't ever do anything with our lips, the lips are a different type of skin, and they're very smooth skin, and